San Academy Pallikarnai, Class 6 Science. Chemistry, January portion, Chapter 4, Sorting Materials into Groups. Happy day children, hope you are all doing fine. So in this chapter, what are all topics we are going to cover is object around us, properties of materials, appearance, solubility in water, solute, solvent, solution, how the materials are grouped, and grouping on the basis of similarities and difference, advantages of grouping, that is the classification. Object around us. There is a vast variety of objects everywhere. So we have seen that our food and clothes have so much variety in them. Not just food and clothes, we have so much variety of objects which is present everywhere. So look, when we just look around in our classroom situation itself, if you see stationary items, we can see like scissors, compass, pins, clips, pencils, color pens, stapler, sharpener, our bag, lunch bag, cupboard, bulletin boards, etc. So in this we can categorize this materials will be made up of different materials. So in this lesson we are going to see about how we can able to group the materials into groups, that is by classification. So a thing can be made of different materials. So many things can be made from same material. So classification is nothing but the process of sorting and grouping things according to some basis. We call it as classification. So what is the basis of grouping? So we can group materials on the basis of similarities and differences in their properties. So for example, if we see in the picture, both desk and chair are made from wood, while pen and dustbins are made using plastic. So the materials which can be able to group depends on the properties. So each material has its own property, so that they differ from each other. So however, some properties may be common to one or more materials. So this is the book back exercise. So the material and the objects made of these materials. If we see wood, chair, table, plow, bullock cart, etc. If we see iron, chair, table, bathroom fittings, mesh, wheels, etc. So if you see the object pencil, it is made up of plastic or metal, bed, wood, steel, iron, knife, steel, like that. So properties of materials. So classification, as we studied, like the process of sorting and grouping things according to some basis. So that's why only we are in need of grouping the materials depending on the similarities and the properties. So based on this, we can categorize like by appearance, hardness, soluble or insoluble, that is solubility, objects float or sink in water, transparency, like transparent, opaque, translucent. So why we need to group objects? Mainly convenience for storing and convenience to study. When we see the convenience to study, like metals and non-metals based on the properties, we can categorize. Convenient to store even in our homes or in shops, groceries, based on the material properties we can able to categorize. So we can able to group in order to similar objects which are of same size, making them to locate them easier in the future. So convenient to study, easy for us based on the futures as well as the patterns. So when we see the properties like appearance, so materials usually look different from each other. So wood look very different from iron, iron appears different from copper or aluminium. At the same time, if you see, there are some similarities. If you see iron, copper metals, we can able to see some similarities, but not in the wood. So based on this, how they look or appearance, we categorize as materials have luster property. That is the shining property. It's very gentle shine or soft glow, while other metals, if you see, they are plain and dull looking. So materials that have such luster property can be classified as metals. Example, gold, copper, aluminium, iron. So usually a metal loses its luster after some time due to the action of moisture content on the environment and air on it. So therefore only fresh cut metals appear to have luster on them. So luster is the shining property of material. All metals in pure state are shiny but said to be possess luster. So materials like gold, silver and bronze have luster property. So luster property, only fresh cut will have that luster property. So when we have to just make it, then only we will give that gold ornaments and silver ornaments for polishing. Next is hardness. So materials which can be pressed easily, we call it as softness, while some materials which cannot be pressed, we call it as hard. Example, cotton is soft, wood is hard on the basis of hardness. So that can be easily compressed or scratched. So based on this property, we can make the metals into malleable and ductile. That is, malleable means able to flatten into a thin sheet or foil. For example, aluminium foils and all we will use, that is malleability property. And ductile, we can use it copper metal into thin wires. So we can say all metals are both malleable and ductile. Malleability is nothing but making a metal into thin sheet or foil. Ductability is into a thin long wire. So the next is transparency. So as we all know, the light shadows lesson we have studied opaque, translucent and transparent. So different materials allow different amount of light when they pass through depending on a property called transparency. So objects which can be seen through completely or we are called transparent. Example, glass, clear water. So objects that can be passed through in which only partially, that we call it as translucent object. Butter paper, frosted glass are the examples of translucent objects. Next is which cannot be, the objects which cannot be able to see through. We call it as opaque. Opaque is completely blocked. So the materials which cannot able to see. Example, metals, wood, cardboard are the examples of opaque materials. So transparency, transparent, opaque and translucent. Soluble or insoluble. Materials that can be dissolved in water upon stirring are said to be soluble. That is completely whatever the materials we are making to soluble. That only we call it as solubility. For example, sugar and salt can be dissolved in water. So materials that cannot be dissolved in water, that we call it as insoluble materials. For example, stones, clothes cannot be dissolved in water. So some liquids mix well each other and some liquids cannot mix well each other. So just not just solid particles, even liquids have the property of being soluble or insoluble. For example, lemon juice can easily dissolve in water while oil do not dissolve. So we can say that this property is miscible or immiscible. So if we say alcohol is completely dissolved in water, that we call it as miscible. But oil, it's not. It forms two layers. So we call it as immiscible. Even some gases dissolve in water. Example, carbon dioxide and oxygen. but solubility of some gases in water is very less. So oxygen dissolved in water, essential for the survival of aquatic plants and animals. So soft drinks have carbon dioxide dissolved in them, and gases like nitrogen, hydrogen and helium are also insoluble in water. So we can say like miscible, those liquids which mix well with water are said to be miscible. Immiscible, the substances which do not mix well with water are called immiscible. So soluble and insoluble is another property. So this is the book exercise. So sugar, when we mix it, disappears completely in water. Salt also, but chalk powder does not disappear in water. Sand also. Liquid mixes well and does not mix. Vinegar mix well with water. Lemon juice mix well, but mustard oil, coconut oil, kerosene does not mix well with water. So miscible and immiscible. Objects float, may float or sink in water. That is the buoyant density. So buoyancy. Some materials float in water while others sink. So that is the upward force which is applied by the fluid by an object, or an object is put, or it may be submerged in the liquid. That only we call it as buoyancy or buoyant density. So based on this, if you see cork or leaf floats on water, but a metal spoon or a key or some stones will sink in water. So this is based on the floating and the sinking in water. Thank you, children.